Oh my God, it's Sunny Days! Sunny Days has returned!
SHW. This is our wrestling.
This is insane.
You think you could walk all over me, but I don't see that happening. We're warriors.
Are you kidding me right now? David Ali is your new Southern Honor Champion. Unbelievable. Spear to Hampton. But look, he never dropped his spear. Ooh.
You get a moonsault, and you get a moonsault, and you get a moonsault.
This crowd is going ballistic.
And now, the voices of Southern Honor Wrestling, Brandon Benefield and Gerard Bonner.
What is going on, everybody? It's SHW. This is our wrestling, the official podcast of Southern Honor Wrestling. I'm B-Double Brandon Benefield, GB Gerard Bonner, and Diana Michel. How y'all doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. Well,
Great to see y'all.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
let's.
What a week it's been here in
It's
Southern
been
Honor.
interesting. It's been an interesting week. There was a video that, dare I say it, went viral because it was all over the place, had everybody talking about it. I happened to be there when the situation went down.
Always at the scene of the crime, I tell you.
GB, do you want to
I-
tell us?
Well, basically, our good friend B-Dub, Brandon Benefield, great commentator that he is, was involved in an interview with the returning Logan Creed, trying to figure out, where has he been, what's the plan, et cetera, et cetera. The interview, as these interviews tend to do lately, get hijacked by one SHW champion, David Ali, who kind of served as a distraction. Then all of a sudden, Austin Towers comes, causes great damage to Logan Creed. But all of this, the controversy now goes, was in front of Logan's child,
Yes.
his baby, who was in the ring behind him. And, naturally, as any kid would, came to check on his father. And a lot of people had a lot of questions about it. What did you think? I mean, you were there in the moment. How did it feel to you?
I felt awful, man. I just had this sick feeling in my stomach because, much like what happened during the show last week or 2 weeks ago now, where when he attacked you at the commentary table, I felt helpless, because you have this guy who's chiseled out of stone and he's got a weapon and he's got a 7-foot monster with him. And it's what can I do to help the situation? I felt the same way when he attacked Logan. And I was just so scared because little baby Creed was right there too. And
Yeah.
I mean, I was ready to kind of grab him if need be and but I mean, I could tell he wasn't going to do anything to the baby other than try to talk trash. What kind of guy is this talking trash
He
to
did
a
talk
baby?
trash to the baby.
That's what I'm saying. He did,
Yeah.
but I knew he wasn't going to physically do anything.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's talking trash to a baby, I mean, what kind of man is that? Come on.
Well, it's proven that he doesn't care who he offends, who he bothers. I mean, I don't know. I'm trusting that by now you guys have seen what happened to us at the commentary booth. He intimidated Diana. He punt-kicked Ravenna Vane. I mean, nobody is safe from David Ali. And so in all of his crazy efforts to really try to force us to call him our savior, he's now gotten himself back into a corner. And he thought he might have been done with Sunny Days. He's not done. Now he's got a first blood match coming up at SHW 25. I'm not sure if it's for the title or not, but good Lord.
It is.
It is for the title.
Gary demanded the title be on the line. Dylan was saying, I just want a piece of Ali. And Gary insisted that the title be on the line now. So we got a title match.
Shout out to Gary and Dylan for being really vigilant, because we all watched the interview live, and a lot of people were upset with them. Of course, they weren't there, so they went and rushed to try to take care of things and came up with this match concept, which it's so funny how fast things move, because last week this time we were all talking about that insane flyer about SHW 25, the flyer that everybody was talking about. We were all singing, Sweet Caroline. And all of a sudden now we're talking about First Blood and just the insane nature of this champion that we have. And it just goes to show why you have to follow what's happening in Southern Honor, because things can change on a dime just that fast.
Yeah. And
I don't see how he thinks it's okay to do the things that he is doing. I mean, yeah, he attacked you. He was in my face, Ravenna. And then, of course, Baby Creed, which I believe is going to get his heyday one day. But then Austin is like, make it make sense. Eye for an eye. What? What do you mean eye for an eye?
by the way,
I don't know
I saw Diana what you responded with that. You said, I don't even know if I should repeat it. It was kind of funny though.
I mean,
Go back and look.
Is it the same thing? Is it the same thing that you're going to attack a man and his kid with your baby savior? Is he equivalent to Crixus? I can't even say the kid's name.
Baby Creed.
Is it the same thing? You have 2 7-foot monsters and 2 little babies. Is that the deal? You're gonna do that? Okay, carry on then.
Well, I don't know, but just in case you thought things only happened from in-ring card to in-ring card, that's not what happens here in SHW. It happens in anywhere, social media, in interviews, anything can happen. So stay locked to our Facebook page, guys, and we're trying to make it make sense here on the podcast.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, to your point there, we do have one show a month. But the cool thing about SHW is we have so much stuff to put on social media, on our Facebook page, on our Instagram, on Twitter. We're putting out these videos to, kind of continue the stories along up until the next show. So that's why you have to stay tuned to Southern
Stay
Honor.
informed, exactly.
Stay tuned to the
what's
Facebook.
going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
So keep
What
it
kind
tuned.
of champion we actually have.
Yeah, keep it tuned right here throughout the month, and it'll get you ready and prepared for the next month. And of course, keep it tuned to IWTV as well, independentwrestling.tv, to watch every single show right there. It's sign up, independentwrestling.tv. It's $10 a month, I believe, but code SHW for the first 5 free days. And so be sure you keep up with us.
Harder and harder to binge watch in 5 days. We get more shows.
This is true.
It's doable though.
It's doable, but it's real hard.
It is hard.
Yeah. But anyways, hey, I tell you what though, we had a great guest last week. His name was Sin Bodie, and if you didn't miss or if you didn't catch that one, go back and watch it, because he spilt a lot of knowledge on us.
What a show.
A lot of great info. But hey, we also got a great guest coming up this week. And dare I say that the SHW podcast is going to be turning into maybe the Chris Banks show, because it's going to be Chris Banks' podcast, apparently, because that is who our guest is. You've seen him at the last 2 SHW shows, and he's made a big and lasting impression on us. And I'm going to be honest, he's kind of a nice guy. So we had a chance to talk to him a little earlier. So here it is. Check it out. All right, everybody. Like we said, we got a very special guest here tonight. And actually, our podcast, the SHW podcast, has kind of become the Chris Banks show. It's Chris Banks' podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. No Limits himself, Chris Banks. How the heck are you, buddy?
Thank you. 5 seconds to appreciate Chris Banks.
Time's up.
Thank you.
All right.
What's up, y'all? Big shout out to everybody watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for having me.
Hey, well, real quick.
Chris Banks.
Right. So that's Chris Banks that said that. For anybody that's listening and not watching, that's Chris Banks.
Yes.
So real quick, I want to say to the people that don't realize, so here in Georgia, we've had up and down weather. It's been crazy. Last week it got to 72. Now we're in the 20s this week. Crazy winter weather. And this guy, tell us where you're at right now.
Right now I'm in the island of Chris Banks. So I'm dealing with 90. What is it? Today's 93. That's pretty hot.
Must
I'm
be rough.
sweating on here. I'm fanning myself as you're speaking.
God, you suck.
Right before I came on here, actually, it's funny because right before I came on here, I was relaxing for a little, and I had a freaking lizard on my hat. Dude. I swear to God.
Wow. Oh my
He
God.
was making
if I
this 5
seen it, I would've been
seconds to
scared, but,
appreciate Chris Banks.
If I seen it, I would have been prepared because I like them. But unprepared reptiles, I don't like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a
Totally.
good. So if Jake the Snake ever comes back to SHW while you're there, then you're a no go. You don't want to get near the snake. Is that what you're saying?
I don't.
If I see it, I'm fine. But if it sneaks up on me, I'm a BI. You know the rest.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So what are you doing down there? Are you actually working, or are you just taking some time off, taking a vacation?
No, just I came out here just to relax, take some vacation. Relax, get some sun. It's just like I'm from the north, and like where I'm at, it's always snowing, especially lately. When I left prior to coming, it was like I think 24 inches of snow.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Nuts. I
Ooh.
was like, what? Thank God I was leaving.
Yeah.
Like it's funny because like I the other day somebody like I was speaking to a friend of mine and he's like, man, we're freezing over here. And I'm like, damn, that sucks to be you. So I made a video. I don't know if you guys saw the video.
Yep.
And lady. In which like I'm like,
Yes.
oh, don't catch a heat stroke. And like I got my sister cursed me out, my cousin cursed me out, he cursed me out. Like, are you serious? We're here dealing with snow and you're talking about a heat stroke? I'm like, well,
Yeah. Gotta wear
look,
yourself.
I'm even so tan right now. I'm like red.
Sheesh.
Well, hey, by the way, I don't know. So the people that come to the last couple SHW shows, they've heard you in the ring. They've heard some of your insults, if you will. And I don't know if you noticed, but our very own Diana Michel here, she kind of is dressing the part of the Georgia. What'd you call it, Diana? What are we going
This
for?
is the Southern girls, the Southern states. My little camo and ponytail. You lucky I don't have my ball cap on.
I was surprised that they allowed you on this podcast with no shirt on.
You know what?
Wow.
For the people that are just listening and not watching, if you're just listening and not
She
watching,
is actually clothed, folks.
she does have a
She's
shirt
clothed.
on.
Yes.
That was Chris Banks being Chris Banks
Oh, I
right there.
could just. You're on my list. You're on my list.
Oh boy.
Getting long.
So let's
Gosh.
talk a little bit about let's get a little bit of Chris Banks background and take us back a little ways, because a lot of people, when you showed up a couple months ago, this is the first time we've seen you down in Southern Honor Wrestling, but I know you've been wrestling for quite a while. Let's talk about how you got into the business, man. Give us a little backstory on Chris Banks.
When I was in junior high school, I actually my best friend was this girl Angie, and like every day after school we would all like hang out at her house. Like that was like the spot to hang out, like just together. We would study there, chilling and stuff. And like that was like my other family. Like I had like a lot of family issues growing up in, excuse my language. I had a lot of like family issues, so like that was like our little getaway. And we were hanging out one day, and like her brother was there, and he was watching wrestling, and he was like, oh, like I sat down and watched it with him. And I'm like, damn, that guy looks just like you on TV. And he's like, does he? So then like, he turned to the camera, and Steve Mack, I don't know if you guys in the South are familiar with Monster Mack. It ended up being him. And I was like, what the hell?
Wow.
And then he brought me, that's how I got in. Like, I was like, no way, that's you. And like back in the days, like, it wasn't like you can go to wrestling school and just like sign up. Like, you had to prove yourself. So like, dude, like pretty much I was like 15 at the time. Like he gave me a whole to-do list. Like, oh, you want to be a wrestler? You got to do this. You got to do this. Prove yourself by doing this. Like he made me prove myself before I could even step into a ring. And like when I finally stepped into the ring, like the first thing he did was like have me bumping on like mats that was on the floor. And I was like, dude, what am I doing, bro? Like,
yeah.
because like I was always into sports. Like in my freshman year in high school, I was a starting fullback for the varsity team and stuff like that. Like I was always really good at sports. I was pretty athletic. Like I jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu. Like I have a whole like crazy background of like martial arts and shit like that. Cause like that was my getaway growing up.
Okay.
So like it was cool like to just be introduced to wrestling, because it was like I've always loved wrestling. Growing up, I was a Hulkamaniac and a warrior.
Yeah.
So when I had the opportunity, I was like, dude, whatever you want, tell me. Oh, you want me to sand your toes? I'll sand your toes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And that's how I got in. And then it was like, after that, thank God, like the rest was history. And like, it's funny because like how I actually, I was always very shy. Like you guys would probably be surprised to hear this. Like Dylan knows me personally, so Dylan knows this. I'm actually stage fright.
Oh yeah.
So, like,
Really?
Yeah, dude. That's why I'm like so like try to like just run my mouth there constantly, because if I take time to take in what's happening, it freaks me out, man.
Wow.
Interesting.
Never thought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd never know.
And like how I came over that fear well, not just came over it, but like started talking more. Now I don't shut up. Was because when Dylan was up in Pennsylvania, him and his old partner was holding a tryout, and me and my friend Dirtbag Dan, shout out. we
Dirtbag Dan's a big
actually went to
listener.
the
He
tryout.
listens every week. Dirtbag Dan. Yeah.
Right,
Oh,
right.
does he?
Oh, yeah.
All right, then wasn't up dirty. That was my old roommate. Me and him have crazy stories, but so we went up there, and so whatever. So like, they liked what they seen, but like then they hand me a microphone, and I was like, I couldn't cut a promo for nothing. Like if my life depended on it. So Dylan and his old partner, what they would do would be like they started using me, and they would be like, all right, Chris, like this is what we want from you tonight, blah, 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 blah. I'll be like, all right, cool. Go out there and say it right now. What? I'll be like, right now. Dude. So like they made me get over that. That's why I love Dylan so much. I have so much respect for Dylan.
So you kind of answered a little bit, but how did you guys meet initially? Did he seek you out? Did he had seen you somewhere prior?
We've met prior, but like we've had like small talk in the locker room. So like I didn't even know it was him holding the tryout, him and his partner. And it was like when I went there, it was like, oh, what's up? Like we still didn't know each other, but we knew each other. Like hey, how are you? Stuff like that. And like I still didn't know that he was Rob's partner at the time. I didn't know that till like later when they started using me. That's how I found out like he was Rob's partner. But like yeah, that's how me and him met. And it was just always like me and him always like just clicked with each other. Like we always looked out for each other and stuff like that. Like opportunity came, he always like he gave me good spots to grow pretty much. And like I'm always thankful for that.
Awesome. So I guess through just keeping in touch with him over the years, you heard about SHW and eventually made your way down here, huh?
Yeah, like he had told me about it a while ago. And like prior to COVID, like I was constantly booked. I was like always traveling, always wrestling. Like thank God, like I was blessed enough to like travel all over doing it. And what happened was I'm a rider. I love riding. And
are you talking about horses or?
No, he's never been on a horse. No.
I'm just kidding.
No, you know what's funny? I actually
right?
I was at my cousin's house yesterday and he had a horse. I'm like, who has horses? I don't know if Chris Banks.
That's the people.
But yes, I wasn't even I was coming down just to chill, like just to hang out and just to check it out, you know what I'm saying, and see him. I haven't seen him in so long. And he was like, I hope you're smart enough to bring your gear with you. So I was like, yeah. So I made sure to pack my gear. But like when I got there, like we were talking, and like the whole like third person. Hold on, that's my alarm. I actually did the alarm. Sorry. Like that was.
So your alarm to remind you to do the interview tonight on the podcast?
Yeah.
That's great.
Smart.
So yeah, he was like, I was like, I have an idea. I'm like, cool. He's like, I thought about it for a while, and I know you can pull it. What? He's like, I need you to be arrogant. Okay, that's easy. And have an ego. Okay, that's easy. And only address yourself as third person. What? What do you mean? He's like, yeah, Chris Banks this, Chris Banks that. I'm like, dude, that's gonna be so annoying. He's like, you're a heel. I'm like, I guess.
Yeah.
And I end up just doing it to be funny. Next thing I know, like, people like, dude, like, you're such a jerk. Like, what the hell? Like, you hated it. I was like, oh, okay. And like, I like, me and my friends, like, we just like always snap jokes on each other. So that's why, like, the whole like name calling, like the sibling diddlers and yeehaws and like that all just goes through because it's like, I'm like, oh, okay. I like,
yeah.
It's natural for me to be a joker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the folks
so
in Canton.
That character helps me.
Yeah, the folks in Canton don't take too kindly.
Yeah, well, I'm from way south of Canton, and my folks wouldn't have took too kindly. They would have had you behind the barn beating the crap out of you by then.
You know what's crazy? I'm such a Yankee, I have no clue what that meant, but I'm offended.
You should be scared. Don't let me bring my people.
Just remember, you never want to go out behind the barn. That's a bad thing.
I wouldn't. Like, even if there was an invite, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Especially with a girl. When it's an invite from a lady with no shirt on, I wouldn't.
She is fully clothed for anybody that's listening and not.
Totally.
This is so.
Actually, you probably shouldn't say anything. People would watch the video podcast even more.
Touche,
Just to
touche.
see, like.
That is so
Jeez.
bad.
That's bad, but they love you, Diana. Like, that's just.
If anybody ever puts on this thing, post it. Diana Michel didn't have clothes on. Oh my God.
Oh,
Please.
hey, for the record, I didn't say didn't have clothes on. We can't see your pants. I can see not wearing a top though.
Oh, you can see I'm not wearing a top. Okay.
This is.
We're off the rails, folks.
This
We're off the
so
rails.
jacked up. So jacked up.
This guy's on vacation. He's just like chilling. He's relaxing, just saying whatever he wants.
Oh yeah,
So
he's
let's
flowing.
I just
kind
gotta
of.
make sure next time I come down, I gotta keep this in case something happens to me. There's evidence.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So let's try to right the ship a little bit.
Please.
One of the things you talked about before we got on the air is just, the power of your story and some of the unique things that you've been through. What are some of those things that you think have made your background so different in terms of coming into the world of pro wrestling?
Well, like, I can't, like, I don't want to generalize everybody in wrestling.
Sure.
But like, I was like, growing up, I was like a product of my environment, pretty much. Like, I'm from Brooklyn, New York originally.
Yeah.
And like, it was like the neighborhood I was in was not the best. Like, I was raised by a single mom, two brothers, one sister. Like, it was just like a very bad environment around me. And like, growing up, to me, unfortunately, like, that was the normal, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I was following that path. Like, I was seeing just doing the dumb shit, excuse my language. I was just doing dumb stuff, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, it sounds weird, but like, wrestling was what saved me, man.
Mm.
Like, real talk, like, wrestling saved me, because it was like, I was in a spot where like I have record from when I was young and stuff like that, when I was younger. And one day, like, when I was home, like, I was just hanging out with like my best friend, and like we were just talking, and like we're sitting there, like, my boys are hood buggers. Not praising, I'll just say, like, it is what it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just love your phrases and your names and stuff, because it's stuff I've never heard before. When you say it, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
And
Anyway.
like, we were chilling one day in the house, and like, we were just sitting there, and I looked at my boy G, and I was like, I gotta get away from this, dude. I'm better than this. And instead of being like, yo, what you talking about, Posy, blah? Like, he looked at me, he was like, I was wondering how long before you realized that. I was
Wow.
like, what? And then like, he just started saying stuff to me that I was like, wow, dude, like, even that for me, that's crazy. Like, you're my right-hand man. You're doing all the crazy stuff I'm doing. Like, why are you telling me this? You know what I mean? And like, right there, I picked up the phone, and like, I called my uncle. And I was like, my uncle lives in Jersey, and like, he lives in the suburbs of Jersey. Like, I always, like, it's funny, like, I always say, like, my life was kind of like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but kind of different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I hit him up, and I was like, yo, like, let's get away from this, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he was basically like, all right, come on down. And like, so when I went down, it was like, I just put myself back into school. I kept my head on, you know what I mean? Like, I went back to school, I still focused, and like,
Somebody's stealing your car real quick. I don't know.
yeah, no, that's what it is.
Oh my gosh.
Making sure you notice. All right, go ahead.
Jeez.
That threw me off. Oh,
Yeah, I'm sure.
Anyway,
and I forgot now.
so you were talking to your uncle.
Your uncle, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, I put myself through school, went back to school, got my GED at the time. Then I was my mother's husband at the time, the gentleman that pretty much was like my father figure, I guess you could say. He was into construction, so then I hit him up, and I was like, yo, dude, like, introduce me to this construction thing, you know what I mean? And like, he started introducing me to that, and like, but like, I was always into, I want to know more of what this is, you know what I'm saying? So pretty much, like, from learning construction, I would sit there with him, and he would show me how to read blueprints and stuff like that, and he would teach me like stuff like that. And like, what ended up happening was, I ended up going to school for contracting, for project managing. Like, I got a degree in project managing.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So whatever. So like, after I did that, once again, I was like getting bored. Like, damn, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And my sister knows how I am. Nobody knows me more than my sister. Like, my sister's my heart. I love her so much. But like, she knows how I am, and like, she's looking at me. She's like, "Yo, Chachi." My family calls me Chachi.
Yeah.
So she's like, yo, Chachi, like, what's up? Yeah, I'm getting personal here. Yo, what's up with that?
Open up, man. That's what the podcast is for. We love it, getting
I
the
dig it, I dig
backstories.
it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like she was like, yo, Chachi, like now I already stopped wrestling for a while because I started doing dumb shit, you know what I mean? So whatever. So like my sister already saw like it, she saw it in my face. She was like, yo, Chachi, like, why you don't get back into wrestling? I'm like, what? She's like, yo, like you always loved it and that was always your thing. So she made it a point to find a wrestling school by me.
Wow.
So yeah, that was pretty cool, y'all. And
Yeah.
like, so what happened was that's how I met Dirtbag Dan. Cause then my sister like sent me the address. She was like, yo, just check out this place. So I went there and like Dirtbag was training people. That's like he Dirtbag Dan trained Joey Janela, Corey Havoc.
Okay.
Like he trained a lot of people.
Yeah.
So then we're chilling and whatever. I just wanted it to keep my mind occupied. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like Dan was always like, yo, let's do these shows. I'm like, nah, dude, like I don't want to wrestle. I don't want to wrestle. I don't want to wrestle. So one day he brought me to this show in Jersey, in Towns River, New Jersey, called Awesome Wrestling.
Okay.
So like he's like, oh, come in the locker room, let's hang out. Like I want to introduce you to people. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go in there, I say what's up, blah, blah, blah. And Corey Havoc hands me a bag, and I'm like, what's that? Dan's like, yo, that's your gear for tonight. I'm like, what? Like, gear for what? He's like, you're wrestling. I'm like, no, dude, I don't want to wrestle. He's like, yo, like, if you don't wrestle, it's going to look bad on me. I'm going to get a bad name. I already put your name out. Like,
Wow.
you jerk.
Wow.
And then from that booking, this booking came. Next thing I know, I'm like, wow, what the hell? How am I here? You know what I mean? Chase the dream, man.
That's
Wow.
cool, man.
Wow.
What's your most memorable match?
My most memorable match?
Yeah.
It's what was it? I think like 2 years ago, they had the Brody Cup. Come on, I'm sorry.
You're good.
What?
I turned it off.
I didn't mean to confuse you. I didn't mean to confuse you.
But my most memorable match, it's more like a personal thing. Like I was fortunate enough to like been places, but I don't like to say like names because that's corny to me. But my most memorable match was like that. I was like, wow, like I actually got emotion while the match was going on. Was a year or two ago when they had the Brody Cup. I think it was 2 years ago. It was me and Tommy the Moose, which is my best friend forever, versus Steve Mack, the gentleman that introduced me to wrestling, Monster Mac, and his partner was Magic. Magic and I go, Magic knew me since I was a little snot-nosed kid because me and his son was friends.
Okay.
Wow.
So that was like, oh, and I call Magic Unc. That's like my uncle. You know me since I was a baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like that match was dope. And like that match was like even I still remember like in the locker room like tearing up and taking a picture with these guys. Like, wow, dude. It might not mean nothing to anybody else, but this means a lot to me because I appreciate y'all guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my most memorable match.
That's great.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I
I
love
feel
that.
you, man.
I love
I
it
love
because
it
I
like
love
that.
because
Surprisingly, I'm an emotional guy, man.
I was gonna say, so before you came
You're
on,
son of a gun, but you're so emotional.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say before you came on, Diana's all like, I don't know about this guy, I don't know. And then now that you're here, it's all like, oh.
Did you just
I'm
throw her
offended.
under the
I'm
bus?
kidding. I
though?
wouldn't know.
Yeah, I
Is
did.
that why
I
she
did.
came
That's
on
my bad.
dressed like that?
That's my bad.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Let's
Sorry.
see how you act in the ring next time. Maybe I'll knock you out and then get it over.
No beef.
She'll pronounce your name wrong on the.
Oh,
I don't even get to
gosh.
say it. I don't
Oh,
even get
that's
to
right.
say his name.
That's true.
right. Yeah. So.
Bro,
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna kill me the first time I took her mic. I guess nobody gave her the Iggy, and the way she gave me the look, I was like, holy shit.
You don't
And I
get
did the
it.
whole, like-
I have Ashton Starr coming out being a complete jerk. I have AC Mack. I can't even announce him because he has to do it. So then I get this new guy from New York coming out here and taking my mic too.
Dude, I walked in the ring and I did the whole like, get out my way.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
she looked at me like,
Yeah. Oh
I was
yeah.
like, right there,
And
like,
I was
nobody
dead
gave her the Iggy.
serious.
Nobody told me this was gonna happen.
Nobody told me anything. I was
That's
like,
so
no, you're
good.
in my ring. You're down here in my ring. No.
That is so good. Oh my
I
god.
went out my way to last year to apologize for that and make sure you knew.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
So I'm curious. I mean, obviously, working in the South, has to be, well, maybe it's not. Are you finding that working in Southern territories is a bit different than working in the North? What's that like for you?
Oh, it's a lot different. Like, I actually spent a lot of time in North Carolina and South Carolina years back.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Eric Adams. He's a worker from the North
Yeah.
Carolina. That's actually my cousin. And like
wow.
yeah, like back in the days, I used to work a lot down there with him. What is it? American Pro Wrestling, something like that. I forgot what it was.
APW.
So,
Okay.
like, and I always noticed, like I used to be really skinny before when I started. So like I was always doing like the flippy, jumpy, spot monkey stuff. Like, oh, I got to do a 450 to stand. I got to do this to stand out. And then when we started working down south, I was like, they were popping for a wrist lock. I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have to kill my body. I can hold this headlock in. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna work this way. Like, it was like work smart and not hardy, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And like New York, Philly, even Las Vegas, like they're so, and Cali, they're so bloodthirsty. They,
Wow.
they don't care about the match. They care about the move. I care more about the story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I love the Southern crowd. Like, real talk.
Wow.
Like, that's my personal favorite crowd.
Wow.
The Southern crowd. Like, I won't wrestle in
that's
Puerto Rico.
interesting.
Oh, wow. Well, they are pretty bloodthirsty in Puerto Rico, though. Like,
Dude.
that's.
My eye got sealed the first time I wrestled in Puerto Rico.
Are you
I
serious?
didn't know that. Yeah, because I didn't know, like, I didn't know that in Puerto Rico you got to work different. Like,
Mhm.
you got to let it's a different psychology in Puerto Rico, because they're more like, out in Puerto Rico, they're more, it's real to them in the sense of, like, it's like a comic book. Like, the bad guys, the villain, the good guys, the hero.
Mhm.
And I didn't know that. So, like, I'm working like American style. Nobody told me.
Yeah.
So I still remember that. Like, I had the guy in the headlock. I'm running my mouth, and somebody threw a battery at me.
Oh.
I was like, oh, what the hell?
Whoa.
Yeah, dude. And
Wow.
like, my eye was like instantly closed. So like the rest of the match, I'm like working one eye.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so
gosh.
like it's every territory is so weird, man. It's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
But, like,
And that's interesting, especially now, you know, when, of course, after Attitude Era and Monday Night War, people thought that kind of territories went away. And so you kind of had these national promotions, but the indie scene really talks a whole lot about the territory piece. That's so intriguing.
yeah, it's so different. It depends where you're at too. Like, and like for a while they had me booked as a Canadian. I don't look Canadian.
Oh, wow.
But,
Wow.
so it was like
Why?
because I'm a sarcastic asshole, and sometimes I get my foot in my mouth. I was doing a gimmick called Dr. Uggs,
Okay.
and spell it out, Dr.UGS.
Oh, wow.
Gotcha.
Wow.
So like,
wow.
yeah, it was like a schizo, and
Yeah.
like
Okay.
I was working for this one promotion, and the promoter was like, what's your name? So I was like, Dr. Uggs. So he's like, I can't use that. It's a family show. So I'm like, all right. He's like, what's your name? So I'm like, Chris. And he's like, Chris what? So I'm like, everybody called me Banks growing up. So I was like, Chris Banks? So he was like, where are you from? So me being funny, I was like, it sounds Canadian. I'm from Canada. So he went out and announced me as Chris Banks from Canada. I was like, what?
Oh,
I
gosh.
don't even look Canadian, bro.
Oh, my gosh.
Don't sound it, don't look it, don't act it.
I can speak like I'm Canadian, because after that, then fortunately enough, I was not to go to Canada and work a lot in Canada. Oh, those hosers out there love me.
Oh,
I can pull it, but
brilliant.
it's like,
Oh,
it's not
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny. That
That
is funny.
is
So
hilarious.
you talk about working in Puerto Rico and all these other places. Where across the country have you worked, and outside the country? Like, how far have you been? Where's like, yeah.
I've worked all of the East Coast,
Mhm.
Canada, Colorado, Nevada. It's not Nevada, it's Nevada.
Mm.
I'll correct you. It's Nevada.
Okay.
Wow.
Canada, I just mentioned, I think, and Puerto Rico. Like pretty much
Okay.
like almost not all 50 states, but I would say majority of the states. Like I was lucky enough, thank God, to have worked.
So aside from Canton, Georgia, Southern Honor Wrestling, because obviously that's your favorite. I'm not even going to ask you what's your favorite. What would be your second
Dude,
favorite
it really
place?
is a lot of fun down there. Honestly, real talk, like, because
Oh,
it's just a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
And like I just like it down there, man. Like you guys are dope, yo. Like real talk. Like
Thank you.
it's just like even like when I first walked in, it was like I didn't feel like, oh man, there's a fucking ego. Excuse my language. There's an ego here. There's an ego there. Like it's not clicky. Everybody's cool. You know what I'm saying? And, like a lot of the guys, like I already kicked it with like on the internet, like on Instagram. We already kicked it. Like I had, look, I know like it's a business where like a lot of people have egos and like they don't want to put each other over because they feel like you step on. That's corny to me. Like if you're doing something dope, I'm gonna shout you out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna share your stuff. I'm gonna show you that love. That's the kind of person I am. Now, even if I don't know you, if you're doing something dope, I'm gonna big you up. I'm gonna be like, yo, check this person out. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of the guys that was there, I didn't even know like that. Like I was kicking it with. So when I seen them, I was like, oh shit, what's up? You know what I'm saying? So it was like one of those already. And like just like when I walked in there, it was just so cool, man. The vibe, like you can tell an aura, man. You know what I mean? And like I'm not a religious person. I'm big on spirituality.
Yeah.
So like I'm all about auras. You know what I'm saying? And like so it just felt right. You know what I mean? And like especially knowing like Dylan there too, like that made it that much more because it was like, dude, like real talk, like if it wasn't for Dylan, Rob Noxious, I really would have never came out my shell. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it was cool.
That's awesome.
Like I'm cool with Dylan.
I can't imagine Chris Banks being in a shell. I mean, I don't see that.
You'd be surprised. If you watch my old promos, you can see how nervous I am.
Wow.
You can see like I'm so like closed up and it's funny. Like,
yeah, but even when I contacted you at first, when I first got your name, and I was like, okay, who is this guy? And Dylan was like, all right, look him up on Instagram because I didn't know. And so I was like, yeah, okay, hey guy, I need your information. I'm going to be announcing you, blah 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 blah. There was no, oh okay. It was just like blah 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 blah, and it was just like, you had like, so much to say. I was like,
I'm gonna try to help you out to make your job do better. If that makes sense.
You did.
Like
you know
these guys
what?
help
I
me
didn't
out.
even do it.
Wow.
Like the last show, Gerard wasn't there yet, but Brandon was there. So like I went up to him before the show, like because obviously you guys know the show more than me. So like I asked him questions. I was like, yo, like what's tell me what you guys put over about Gunner. Like, does he have any injuries? Like, what should I do? What would make your job easier? Because you know what I'm saying?
Whoa, no, hang on a second. Because if Gunner listens to this, I don't want him to know that I was giving you inside information. So hang on. So wait. No. So
I can tell you that he wasn't very much a fan favorite at the time until you.
Well, that's true.
That's a pleasure. That's an honor, man. Like that's excuse me. Oh, I keep cursing. Like that's cool, man. It's like to give me that because like that's like. Especially nowadays, like too many heels want to look good. I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not my job, man. Like when you watch a movie, what pulls you into the movie? That bad guy that's natural. You hate him because he's that bad guy. So if my job is to make a good guy look good, I'm not gonna do nothing fancy. I'm not gonna do nothing cool. Like there's one spot specifically where like he went for the spear and like I was lucky enough to get away from it. And like I could land. I could have done a nice, clean front flip and landed, but why? Why am I going to try to make myself look good?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that would have made no sense. So I just got out the way and like I landed however I landed. I wasn't worried about I got to make myself look cool. Like that's corny, man. It's not about me. My job as a heel is to make sure that they like the good guy more than they like me. They're not here to like me.
Yeah.
They shouldn't remember who I am.
That's the
You
thing.
feel me? They should just remember like, oh, that guy kicked that asshole's ass. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they should go. It's not about me. You feel me? Like that's just my mentality.
Yeah.
That's good. You did your job.
Yeah.
You did well.
And in the process, people remember who you are. And I think that there's a lot to be said for that. So let me ask you this, because going into a new space can be intimidating at times. How has that been for you? Because you've managed to become memorable in the eyes of our fans and in our eyes in a very short period of time. What was that like coming into a new space for you? How do you prepare for that?
My whole going there and my plane ride, that's honestly what I was thinking. Like, damn, like, what if I go out there and everybody's just like so quiet and like just everybody's just looking at me like, who the hell is this guy? Like, and who the hell am I at the end of the day? You know what I mean? And like, so I was like thinking so much like character stuff, what can I do? What can I do? And then when I got there and Dylan hit me with that, oh, this is what I want from you. It was like, oh, okay. Now my whole mood got it changed, but it was kind of easier. So like when I still remember. I'm sure you can see it in the if you watch that episode. Like I still remember like when I first came out, it was just like who's this guy? Like everybody was just like looking. So yeah, so like then I started doing like the arrogant like, and they reacted to it. I was like, oh okay, thank God. And like that just made everything so much better.
Wow.
And then like it was funny too, because like when I finally stepped in there and I did that whole thing to Diana, and she looked at me like, in my head I'm like, nobody told I was gonna do this. Okay, I'm already burning bridges here. That's what I thought. You know what I mean?
It helps though. It
Wow.
helped the jerk.
You know what?
gimmick.
We were cool before the show, so if we had not spoken beforehand, you probably would have got that for real. But
Yeah.
we're good. We're good.
And it's funny because it's like it's so damn night. Like you meet me, I'm like still not that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like, boom, game time. I'm that. You know
Oh
what
my
I mean?
God, I wasn't expecting it. It still caught me off guard. I was just like, this son of a gun. Oh, beat him with my microphone.
I had to ask Eric Adams, like, yo, like, what's things I can't say down here that really might offend people?
Right.
Because I'm from the North. Our culture is different. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really get offended much. So it's like, like, I want you to not like me, but I don't want you to think I'm disrespectful.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a thin line between a bad guy and disrespectful.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be disrespectful. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like yeehaw, and like all the stuff I said. Even like I was like so like when I said what I said the last show, sibling diddlers. I was like, oh my God, like, did I really just say that? Like,
I was in the corner kind of giggling because that was kind of funny.
It was funny.
I was funny. I was just like, what did you say?
I think I even said to Gerard when you said it. I think I even said to Gerard like, did he just say sibling dibblers? I don't think he can say that.
Yeah.
You're in a whole different state.
Yeah.
It was like, oh man, and like I'm obviously a Yankee. I speak so different, you know what I mean? So it was just like it was dope though, man. Like the whole experience, like I loved it, man. It was cool. And, like I was just like afterwards, I was like, all right, that's awesome. Like thank you for that. Like, I was just so thankful for everybody. Everybody was like, wow, like. And that was my first. Prior to that, my last match was. I haven't wrestled in over a year at that point.
Okay.
Oh wow!
Because of the pandemic, I guess.
Yeah, like because I was in my last show was I did some stuff for Impact in February of 2020.
Okay.
So like that was like the last time that I even stepped foot in a ring, but like that was the last show I did.
Right.
Out of curiosity, you didn't come through Atlanta with Impact at all, did you? Because I think at the time, wasn't it January, February? I think Impact was in Atlanta prior to the pandemic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
they did like
I was up north with Evolve. Evolve was up there at that time.
Oh, okay.
So, I actually remember that. Yeah, because Casey was down there. I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why when you said that, I was like, I was trying to remember. Yeah, no, because I stood up north because Evolve had contacted me to like check it out and stuff.
Cool. Well, speaking of the pandemic, so what was that like for you? And had you been working pretty regularly up until that point when everything basically shut down?
Yeah, I was working every week, like too much at that point. Like I was like to the point where I was burnt out. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Wow.
And like it was like that was also like it was a blessing in disguise for me personally, because I run a construction business.
Okay.
So with that happening, I kind of neglected my business because I was always wrestling.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like when that happened, it was like, all right, get back on your P's and Q's. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm big into like investing and stuff like that. Like I'm into stock and weird stuff like that. Not weird, you know what I mean? So like it was like it made me like reevaluate everything. Like this can be taken away from you in a second. What are you doing with yourself? You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
So like it was a blessing in disguise for me personally.
Yeah.
Like I kept going.
It was pretty good. I mean, I don't have any complaints for 2020. I mean, really.
Yeah, that's what I say too. Like a lot of people like, oh, 2020 was the worst year. Like now, like to me personally, like probably because I like to look at the cup always half full.
Yeah.
Like 2020 was a year of blessings, like in the sense of like you had to level up, you had to step up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like either you're gonna fall and let it beat you up, or you're gonna Chris Banks it.
You figure it out.
Yeah.
Nah, but like you're gonna step it up. You know what I mean? Like it's either or. There was no in between at that point.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm curious, being back in the game as you are and really starting to travel and do more things, do you have any dream matches? Anybody that you'd like to face in any company at all? Like, what's the dream match? Chris Banks versus who?
I don't know. I'm weird like that. I don't know. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm so different than a lot of other wrestlers. I can't really say like I have a dream match. Like, do I have dreams? Yeah, I have dreams. But like, my dream goal in wrestling is to work behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
Like agent, produce. Like, that's my dream goal. But like
Okay.
a dream match is just like I like to help others. So like if I can
Got
help
you.
somebody else get to where they want to be, and
Yeah.
I got to be that person to do that, then that's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like, if that makes sense, like that's my dream. My dream match is to get somebody else over. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, do that.
Kenna the lizard, what's going on?
Oh, I didn't know there's a big ass bug flying by me.
The flying lizard. Look out.
Yes.
You need to come down south for real.
Oh man.
Mosquitoes down here will carry you away.
Oh, yo, you know what's funny? It's funny because I skeeve water bugs. I skeeve them.
Wow.
So when I was going down there the night prior, I stayed at the airport at a hotel at the airport, and there was water bugs in the hotel. So I
Oh,
slept.
wow.
I ended up sleeping in my car.
Wow.
So like
Oh my
when
gosh.
I got there, I was telling Dylan the story. He's like, "You hate water bugs?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "So don't look around." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "There's water bugs all over down here." I'm like, "What?" And then I saw
Wow.
some, I was like, "Oh God."
I went down to Jacksonville a few weeks ago to go to a Dynamite episode, and I stayed in a hotel down there, and there was a lizard in my room when I got there, and I tried to like shoo him out, and then he went up in the curtain, and I lost him, and I was just like, I don't know where he is, but then I left to go to the show, and then when I came back, I was like, well, I guess he's still in here somewhere, and I just
That
went to
sounds
sleep
about
and
right.
was just like, all right, just don't crawl in my mouth or anything, and I never saw him again, so I don't know where he ended up.
Gosh.
Anyways.
He crawled in your bag. You brought him home.
Yeah, I was gonna
Probably,
say,
yeah,
Right.
water
He's
bugs
there right
out.
now.
He's flying around.
His name is George.
Oh gosh.
Anyways, good times.
Hilarious.
Well, so you talked about wanting to work behind the scenes. Have you found yourself doing that at all on the shows that you go on? Like when you're backstage, are you helping out some of the other guys, some of the younger guys?
Oh yeah, I try to. I tell everybody, pick up my brain, bro. Like if you
Yeah.
don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna. I mean, I might go up to you and tell you like X, Y, Z if I hear like something, but like I'm just gonna. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to come off like, especially nowadays. Like wrestling is so weird and different. Like too many egos. So like me trying to help somebody, people might take it the wrong way. So I don't even approach people no more.
Okay.
Like as much as that, I let them approach me. You know what I mean? Like don't get me wrong though. Like there'll be times where like I'll hear somebody saying something like when I was down there the last show, like I heard guys speaking, and like thank God, like I'm cool with the people that I'm talking about. I like jokingly, I was like, "Where's your rest spot?" And they were like, "We have no rest spot." I was like,
Didn't even think about it. Yeah.
Wow.
"Yeah," like they didn't even catch that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's not me being a dick. It's just like me, like, okay, because like I tell everybody, like, it's cool to do cool moves, but like, do you want them to remember the move or you want them to remember the match?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I get it. You want to do cool stuff. Like, who doesn't? You know what I'm saying? You want to stand out by being different or doing something cool. But it's like, first off, everything you do, somebody already did. Whether you know what I'm saying, whether you think it's new or not, somebody always did it.
Yeah.
There's times where I've done something and I think, oh, I just came up with this, and then somebody's like, no, I seen X, Y, Z do it. I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
But look,
So-
the names of their moves aren't nearly as cool as the names of your moves, by the way,
Right.
Very true.
oh, my moves are awesome.
because they're all named after you. The Chris
Chris
Banks
Banks
elbow.
clothesline, Chris
Yeah.
Banks lockup. Like,
Exactly.
you know what this is called?
What-
Chris
what-
Banks thinking face. Like, I'm awesome.
There it is.
Oh,
GB had to keep reminding me at the last show because I said, oh, he did such and such. And he goes, no, that was a Chris Banks such and such, whatever it was.
Absolutely.
I was like, oh yeah, my fault. I got
Bro, on commentary, big up to you guys. Real talk, like you guys, like when I watched back the SHW 23, I
Yeah.
was dying laughing. I was like, oh wow.
Wow.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Oh, they was like,
Awesome.
oh, what was
aren't they?
it? Oh,
Hey, they're not commentary team of the year for nothing, right?
touche. Like
Thank you.
everybody that I know that like my friends that are watching and stuff. Like I don't know if you know like the YouTuber V Infuso. Like he's coming up. Thank God, God bless him. He like got mad followers and stuff. Like he's a good friend of mine.
Okay.
He's always playing over
Wow.
SHW.
Nice.
And I was
Wow.
I was with him when it was airing, and I was like nervous, like watching it.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, like this is probably the best commentary team I've here. Like, who are these guys? Like he was all about it. And
Wow.
like we watched the whole show, and like these guys, the whole show was just so on point with everything that we were like, oh, that's
Wow.
dope.
Wow.
Because like
man.
it's
Thank
like
you.
the magic is like it's like I say it all the time. Like it's not just one person. Like
Yeah.
granted, like me and the wrestler could have a really good match, but it's two guys wrestling.
Right.
You still need a ref, which is whether you like it or not. The ref is the in-ring coach.
Yes.
If you're doing something like if the crowd's not into it, the ref should be like, yo, change it up, dude. Like wake them up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like stuff like that. The ring announcer.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they're dead, nobody's gonna be into it.
Mhm.
Very
You know what I'm
true.
saying? So that's a major part.
Yeah.
The commentary team, you're watching the match. Try to watch a match on mute. It's not that
Yeah.
fun.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
It's very different. You're right.
Now watch a match with a shitty commentary team. Not that fun.
Right.
That's true
Majority
too.
of it, you know what I'm saying? So it's like every piece of the puzzle it has to fit. If not, it's not gonna play right. You know what I mean? So it's like it's not only the workers, it's everybody.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
even the camera guy, he can have bad angles. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like even like I like to before the match, like same way I asked the gentleman about like what should I go, you know what I'm saying? What can I put over for you guys, make your life easier?
Yeah.
I also speak with cameramen. Like where do you like to stand? Where should I do this? What should I, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
to make everybody's life easier. Because
Yeah.
it's not about me. Like Chris Banks is one person. Southern Honor is a whole promotion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's bigger than me. So it's why not help as much as I can? You feel
Yeah.
me?
Yep.
I love it.
I think, I guess.
And that's
Yeah.
great. That's great advice too for
Yeah.
guys that want to move up to that bigger level to one of the TV companies, because they're going to have to know for TV purposes when they make their entrance, which camera to look
Mhm.
at and where to go, and the hard camera and all this kind of stuff. So I mean
Yeah.
that's great advice.
That's why like I do a lot of my stuff this way because it's like if the hard cam's here, I do everything this way.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
I
For
don't.
sure.
I try not to turn my back to it because that's kind of like, what are they watching then? And again,
Absolutely.
that's why
Right.
I asked the cameraman. I asked them what they like. Like some people like the camera where it's like two cameras this way and the hard cam here.
Mhm.
Some people have the cameraman opposite side. You know what I'm saying? Like you just got to know what's going to make their life easier. Not only that, also once the show is over, there's still a guy who has to edit everything. So why
That's
not
it.
make that job easier for him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yep. Man.
And it
Absolutely.
saves time, it saves money, it saves energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just how I think. That's just how I came up with
It-
that.
it's-
Behind the scenes guy over here just got all the answers for the behind the scenes. Look at you.
Yeah.
No, but
More like,
it's great. It's great though for our locker room and for any locker room really to
Yeah.
have guys like you, to have the veterans in there, because these
Right.
young guys, some of
I'm
these
not no fucking vet. Get out of here. Excuse my
whatever
language.
you want to say, but
Not
I'm
a
just
cool guy.
for the young
We're
guys.
we're all on the same level. Dude. We're all indie workers at the end of the day. We're all here together.
I
Well,
love
know
for
it.
what
the
I
for the
mean?
new guys, it's good for them to have guys like you in there to be able to like talk
Been
about that
around
kind
a
of stuff.
while. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
been around a while.
That drives me nuts. People like, oh, you're a vet. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, no, I'm
My
not.
bad.
No. I appreciate it. Thank you for that. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I just.
And that's a compliment. It means you kind of know what you're talking about.
Watch
Yeah.
out! Watch
Yeah,
out!
he does.
Watch out!
He does.
I read my cheat sheet before this interview. The Chris Banks
He
cheat
was
sheet.
so
The
anxious to
Chris
get on, he
Banks
didn't want to
cheat
forget.
sheet. Absolutely.
It's trademark. The Chris Banks cheat sheet trademark.
Yeah.
Well, man, I got to tell you, it's been absolutely awesome kind of picking your brain a little bit, getting a little bit of your backstory. And it's been a lot of fun having you at the last couple of shows. And I think I speak for all of us when I say hopefully we'll see you back, in the future. And we enjoy having
Hope
you
to be
around for
back.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely,
hopefully.
man.
One of them
back.
Marilyn Monroe shirts that you were wearing.
No,
No,
today
no,
I have
no.
a Panama Jack shirt on.
No, oh my God, Panama Jack. That's,
Well, you're at the beach. It makes sense.
yeah, but the one you
I
had
love
on
to
at
watch
the
it.
show.
People like I'm very. I don't know. Obviously, you noticed I got my freaking fingernails painted and my toenails painted. I dress very androgynous. So like I love like I got like Prince shirts, Marilyn Monroe shirts, Panama Jack shirts. Like
Yeah.
it's just my style. You know what I mean? I like to I like style.
Yeah.
I got silver hair for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the silver hair.
You know who else
That's
has
crazy.
style?
My
Diana.
hair was dried out now from the 95-degree weather.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, I was gonna say, you know who else has style is Diana and GB over here. So
Could have GB out. Yeah, well, everybody here got style. I don't know why she dressed like that, but everybody got style.
GB, man, GB's always showing up with them blazers, man.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I do what I can, you know.
Oh yeah, I stay fly. That's the way I should be. I gotta stay fly. A suit and
Absolutely.
tie makes it right.
Yes, sir.
There
Yes,
you
A
go.
sir.
person always told me, like, my real name's Ace, Chris Ace. I'd rather somebody call me Mr. Ace than Chris. And that's how you present yourself. The suit and tie makes that different. You don't give somebody a pound, you shake their hand. You know what I'm saying? Like little stuff like that. So yeah, that suit and tie, that blazer, that's fly. That's right.
There you
Thank
go.
you, sir.
Dress to impress. Like even like I'll use Diana as an example. She comes to the show dressed one way, but before she goes out there, she changes up. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's like, boom, this is me. Check it out. You know what I'm saying? And like both times I've been to, even past shows I've seen, everybody looks fly. Like presentation wise, like the commentators dress fly, the ring dancers dress fly. It's presentation. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Somebody like, there's so many times where like you see shows and like you see like, I was actually looking at it earlier with like a ring announcer. I'm not gonna drop no names because that's corny, but dude went out there with like some jeans and like a sloppy ass shirt, and it was just like that like whether you like it or not, that affects your production value, bro.
It does.
You care, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be treated how you dress, as weird as that sounds.
Yeah,
No,
it's true. It's very true.
Dress for the job you want, not the one you got.
That's right. Boom.
Well, let's end it on some words of wisdom there from Chris Banks. Chris Banks taking over the Chris Banks show here tonight. So, Chris Banks.
Glad to be a guest on the Chris Banks show.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
On your show.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, correct yourself. Thanks me for inviting you onto my show.
Absolutely.
Thanks Chris Banks for allowing you on the Chris Banks show.
Thank you, Chris Banks.
What you said.
Thank you for listening to the CBW podcast.
I love it. I love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. We hope to see you back at SHW real soon.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a blessed day. Stay safe. Bless you all. Thank you.
All right, guys, we have resumed the SHW podcast. It has transformed from the Chris Banks podcast. But shout out to Chris Banks, who's living La Vida Loca there in Puerto Rico. Like,
right.
Jealous. Hello.
Jealous.
But yeah, that was amazing, though. Shout out to him. I loved hearing his heart, his story, and can't wait to have him back here at SHW.
Absolutely.
He's got a great background, you know? He's got a good story.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He really does. And like we told him, hopefully we'll have him back sometime soon. But hey, that reminds me, our next show's coming up here pretty soon. It's coming up March 5th, SHW 25. And it's right around the corner, of course.
2 weeks away.
2 weeks away. Tickets go on sale at 5 o'clock the night of the show. Doors open at 7. Bell time at 8. Of course, we'll be doing this show live on Facebook from 7 to 7:30. But we still have a couple more weeks of this show before we get to that show. And we will, of course, continue to pump that up and let you know what the card, once it continues to roll out here. Of course, we know about the championship first blood match between David Ali and Sunny Days. Of course, this is not only is it a title match, but I guess it's going to kind of serve as some sort of a punishment for what David Ali did to the returning heathen Logan Creed last week. So,
but should we be nervous? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Are there any stipulations for Austin? Is he going to be allowed?
I haven't heard yet. I don't know. We'll time will tell. I'm sure we'll find out.
I would like to see him and Logan handcuffed together during the match.
Oh.
Just
interesting.
an idea.
Okay.
That would be interesting.
I mean, not tear the house down, but
they might.
Why not?
For sure. Wow.
That's an idea.
I'm a little nervous. I don't know that we've officially had a first blood match before here in SHW.
We have not.
But I'm nervous because the last time there was blood connected to a certain Sunny Days, it was not a good scenario.
There was a lot of it.
There was a lot of it.
Well, isn't that really what it's going to be? I mean, it's not like just a little nick. It's
Oh,
like
no,
it has
somebody's
got
gotta bleed.
substantial amount
So-
of
so-
blood.
This was in the stipulation. It's going to be up to the referee because it's not just going to be a little scrape. It's not going to be a little bit of blood. The referee is going to be the one to make the call that there's a significant amount of blood loss in order to determine a winner here, which
I would not want that job.
no,
No.
not at all. So
No.
it's going to be interesting. But you're right, GB. Might have been our third show, Winter Rising of 2018. And it was a tables
Yes,
match. It was a
yes.
tables match. Kevin Ryan versus Sunny Days.
We'll never
Sunny
forget
Days
it.
coming off of a ladder. And
God, he fell so far.
but the thing is,
Mhm.
it wasn't like his body went through a table. It was his head
Head.
Mhm.
clipped the
Mhm.
table, and the force of his head alone broke the table in half, busted
Gosh.
him wide open, pool of blood. I mean, it was sick. It was
Yeah. Yeah.
it was rough. So hopefully
Man.
it's not going to be the case this time. But hey, we're supposed to remain unbiased here. So
Getting
It's
harder and
very
harder.
hard. It's very hard.
hey, if you heard us during the main event match on the last show, you know we were not remaining unbiased. So
Well, if you
anyways,
saw the show, you know why. So
Well,
exactly. So
thank you.
anywho, so hey, coming up, like we said, March 5th, SHW 25. But we will see you here next week with another edition of this show. Guys, any final words for our viewers / listeners?
Can't wait
Stay
to see you
safe.
guys.
See you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
All right. Absolutely. Well, until then, this has been SHW.
This is our wrestling.